welcome back to another edition of the Podman. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Podman Ron.
And we're back together. A little bit of an absence there because, one, we had a hard time getting schedules to line up, and two, there's not a whole lot going on in the nerd world nowadays.
There's not.
Surprisingly, we have been busier than the nerd world.
And what does that tell you? We're all just growing up a little bit.
I feel past grown.
We're all just old. But we do have some TV shows building up to, Doctor Strange 2 is the next movie coming out. But in the meantime, we've got some TV shows that we certainly can talk about. Let's just head over real quick to the newsroom. And Brian, I know you normally keep us up to date on the news. Today, we had a little bit of news, casting news, for Fast 10, your seatbelt. And one of the most divisive actors of the Marvel Universe now joins the Fast and Furious universe.
Yep.
Tell us who this is.
Brie Larson is signed to be in Fast 10, Your Seatbelts. Which, that's not the name of this movie. Like, Universal's completely lost touch. So.
I think I'm the only one that likes Brie Larson.
Ooh.
You may be. You may be the only person.
Honestly, I did not like Captain Marvel when it first came out, but it's grown on me, and her performance has grown on me.
Really? How many times have you watched it, you think?
2 times.
Wow, so that second time really walloped you.
I'm really messed up.
She really impressed you that second time around. Well, if I recall, Pod Mini Jacob actually kind of liked Captain Marvel as well. Is that right?
I don't remember.
Maybe you blocked it out, but I think that's a true statement.
It may be true. I'll find out.
That's true. Brian will go slap it out of him.
Yeah, you may be in denial on that one, Brian.
Come here,
boy.
No, she's kind of a hard pill to swallow outside of the movies when she does her little press tours, but I don't know.
That's what
her performance.
That's what I said in the chat, in the Podman chat. I wonder how long it's going to be before she starts claiming she's the fastest and the furious of the class.
She's the best of them all.
I've always been fast and furious. I'm way faster than Vin Diesel.
And Vin Diesel has taken to Twitter, posting about how funny she is and fun she is and everything. So it sounds like it's a match made in heaven.
I've never thought of Brie Larson as funny or fun. So,
What are the odds that she's just going to take The Rock's part?
Yeah, she could probably do it.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Leslie Hobbs.
Not that
Linda
big.
Hobbs.
Not that big of a change. Maybe he gets a sex change, and it's Brie Larson.
There you go.
With character, they're trying to bring him in to open up a new audience. Diversity and all.
They kill him in some humiliating way.
Speaking of humiliation, what else do we have out there? Not a whole lot going on anywhere.
Little bit.
We
got Picard Season 3, and we'll talk about Picard later on in the episode, but Picard Season 3 is going to be a Next Generation reunion. They're bringing back, foreseeably, everyone but Wesley.
Which is kind of... Why would you not... Wesley would be the one I'd want to know where the fuck happened to. No? I mean, out of all those chunks...
He must have really rubbed people the wrong way.
I guess he did, because, we kind of saw what most everybody's doing, so I'd like to see what happened to Wesley. Last time, other than the wedding in that last Nemesis movie, the last time you saw him, he went off with the Traveler to explore worlds and be with that pedophile Traveler guy, so...
Yeah, and Beverly Crusher's going to be in it, so we're not getting Pulaski. We're not getting...
Isn't she dead, though? Didn't Pulaski die in real life, or no?
Probably. But Pulaski we're not getting Wesley Crusher. Or we're also not getting, what's his face, the guy that always... The Scotty. What was his name? Cole
Meany?
Yeah, Cole Meany. What was his name on the show?
Oh, O'Brien.
O'Brien, yeah. And we're not getting, this is the one I want to know what happened to, is Reg Barkley.
Oh, we're not.
We're not getting Barkley.
All
right.
I'm trying to find Pulaski.
Is that kind of the sign of a desperate?
Yes, we got that little bit of news.
Is that the sign of a desperate Picard that they're like, we need to get people to watch this thing. Why don't we bring back the whole cast? I mean, is this their desperate move here?
I'm sure it is.
Trying to relate.
Pulaski is still alive, but she's 83 years old. So,
yeah. What TV show, Podman Ron, would have done that?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Brought back the original cast, like a spin-off that brings back an original cast as a very special episode. Who would have?
The Hazard. They got rid of Bo and Duke, and then Bo and Luke, and then
Frazier
brought in
did.
Coy and Vance, and they had to bring Bo and Luke.
Frazier revisited the bar, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Well, they didn't go to the bar because I guess it was too expensive to recreate the bar. But what they did was they had a reunion at a hotel. They happened to all be at the same. Oh, it was Cliff's retirement party. That's it. Why did I remember that? Cliff was retiring as a postman, and Frazier went to the retirement party in Boston and ran into
everybody.
Most everybody.
All right. So this is their Frazier moment, trying to bring it all back home.
Trying to bring it back.
Yeah, well, good for them.
Good for them. We got
which I don't mind because you kind of wonder. It's Picard's last season. What I would like to see, they won't do it because they haven't done anything I would like to see on this fucking show. Do where the old crew gets together and kind of like it does a Star Trek 3, Search of Spock, that they, take a ship out.
They go renegade?
They go renegade with the old crew, and the old crew kind of pulls together to help Picard on this last-ditch effort. And that's what I'd like to see. I think that would be a cool send-off for the show.
Here's my pitch. They're all in a retirement community.
And a mystery happens?
An alien egg lands in the community pool.
Oh, there you go.
And we just do a straight-off rip-off of Cocoon.
Yeah. They all feel young all of a sudden.
Picard could be the Wilford Brimley. Riker could be the Don Amici.
We just need a Gutenberg.
Yeah, we need a Gutenberg. That's Wesley Crusher.
Wesley Snipes.
He's the Gutenberg.
If these idiots would have been smart who wrote Picard or who created Picard, they would have de-aged Picard last season. They had a great opportunity to do it. It was like teed up for them to de-age him, cast a young actor, and then you got the character of Picard, and he's young again, and it makes kind of sense why he's young again, and you could have several seasons and spin them off in other shows. But
you could have young Picard, like we've got
young Rock,
young Sheldon,
young Rock, young Picard. Yeah, but it made no sense how they just. Oh, well, we aged you back to where you were.
I would want him to age him back to like when he was like 12, but he's still bald.
He's still old.
He still has no hair. He's the season 1 Picard where he still has the fringe around the side before he completely gave up.
I want to cover something, but go ahead and finish your news out, Brian.
All right, a couple other things real quickly. IGN has given the first review of Secrets of Dumbledore. Did you guys see what it is?
What is the secret?
It's gotten a 4.
A 4 out of 100?
Out of 10. So not looking great for
the Harry Potter verse needs to just go away, right?
Well, that was a terrible God. That whole Fantastic Beasts stuff was just awful. None of it's been good. None of it's got any traction whatsoever. I can't even believe they made a third one.
Well, it's Warner Brothers signed off on this. They're like, she can, she's the goose that laid the golden egg. She can do no wrong. She's writing them as we're not going to do the books.
It doesn't help.
We're write the movies.
Yeah, it doesn't help that she shit the bed with all that transgender shit that, she spoke out against, and everybody hates her now, so.
It does not help when everybody hates her.
Womp womp.
And then finally, we may be getting a new Flash.
Uh-oh. Another
You
new.
heard this, right, PMR?
Poor Grant Gustin's just waiting.
Yeah, poor Grant Gustin. He's just waiting in the wings. PMR, have you heard this?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Thank God.
Ezra Miller's once again in trouble with the law.
Starting to fight with a girl.
Yeah, and he got drunk, disorderly conduct, got into a fight. Now, this is now, but April 2020, is when he choked the lady inside of a Costco.
Yeah, but didn't he do something like last year or something where he took a fan and he put they got video of it.
He
played it off as a joke later on, but
no, that was when he choked the lady in.
Was that
Costco.
the same person? Okay.
Yeah, that's the video.
Oh, dude, man, it's like that wasn't played out. That was. He was
like, oh, it was just a joke. We were just play fighting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now Warner Brothers, the rumor is Warner Brothers is they're canceling him. They're
canceling him.
They're suspending or postponing all of his future projects, and there was some sort of summit rumored that they're discussing what to do to go forward. So now everyone's clamoring, and they all want Grant Gustin to take over the role of Flash in the movies.
You may want to update that because I think I had heard somewhere that they came out of their summit and said, we're standing by whatever the fuck his name is.
Ezra Miller?
Yeah, I think Warner Brothers, you might want to update it and Google it, but I think someone said that they're standing by them. And
well, no, I heard that there's disputes as to whether there was a summit, but I've never heard anyone say. Let's see.
I mean, it's not like all Grant Gustin ever does is cry. So I mean, I just would find somebody else as Flash altogether. You got a weirdo, and then you got a guy who cries all the time. Can we just get a real man just to fucking?
That's what Flash needs is a real man. You're right. Podman Ron's right about that.
After he just spoke out about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
What?
PMR slides down the same slippery slope.
Like that. I'm not against transgenders like her. I'm just saying, I don't want a man that fucking cries all the time.
I don't want a Flash that's crying. No.
Or a wacky goofball like Ezra Miller, or whatever the fuck his name is. So, what'd you find out?
They haven't come out and said they stand by their actor. All that's been said was they're disputing whether there was actually an emergency meeting held.
Well, but I mean, Flash is already in the bag, isn't it? So they might as well just put that out and let it go.
Yeah, but it's pushed till next year, so you could.
If you
wanted to, you could go in at the end.
You could have his Flash get killed. Yeah,
where suddenly it's Grant Gustin.
What movie they did that with? Where they canceled Kevin Spacey and inserted somebody else like in the last 2 weeks before it opened or something?
Yeah, it was. Oh man, what was that movie? But they got rid of him and then refilmed all of his parts with Max von Sydow.
Yeah,
which is actually a better actor. But yeah.
No one's going to see the Flash anyway for the Flash. They're going to see it because Michael Keaton Batman. So I mean, it's not like that's the only reason that movie's going to make any money.
Just because of Batman. Everybody loves Batman.
There's also a rumor going around that in the Flash movie, it's going to retcon, and there's going to be things like Superman doesn't become Superman. Something happens to where Henry Cavill's Superman never makes it to Earth.
Right.
And so that's gonna he's gonna get bumped off the path by Supergirl's shuttle. But yeah, so that it's gonna retcon, and that's why you're gonna have these other characters because either Eobard Thawne kills him, or as a baby, or he gets diverted from Earth or whatever. But Superman never makes it to Earth. That's the rumor now. So.
Why not? It sounds good.
Man, DC just wants to just fuck up everything, don't they?
Fuck it up, people. I think that's about it. Nothing else news-wise, is there?
Yeah.
Again, very, very slow.
And that's like 2 weeks worth of news.
We really haven't
too
talked
much,
about.
yeah.
We haven't really talked about the slap heard around the world.
No one cares about that anymore. I don't think, do they?
Does anyone need our opinion at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, fill us in on what happened.
If you've been in a nuclear fallout shelter for the past 20 years, and you have not, and you've missed the past 2 weeks.
I gotta say that if I ever bitch slap somebody, I hope I do it as cool looking as Will Smith did. That man just like was so smooth the way he bitch slapped the Chris Rock and just kind of smoothly
Just
turned
straightened up his jacket and got moseyed on out.
Looked sharp as fuck, man. I was
Right.
like, God damn, man, that's the smoothest bitch slap I've ever seen.
Podman Ron
So
admires
smooth,
us. But you've always stood by Will Smith, though, right?
I'm always like Will Smith, and I mean, gotta give the man credit.
Yeah.
It's funny. When PMR used to be the huge Eddie Murphy fan, PMR and his mother, they would always go opening day to the Eddie Murphy movie, whatever it was. And then sometime along Pluto Nash,
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy lost his shine. And Will Smith is the one that filled in that void.
He did. Will Smith was my rock back then.
Now The Rock's your rock.
Now the Rock, well, I don't know.
Now you hate The Rock.
Now John Cena's your rock.
I do like John Cena now. John Cena stepped up to where The Rock's. You know, The Rock just posts too much. I'm sick of seeing
Well, if you think The Rock's posts are like, read some of John Cena's. John Cena's are every bit as vapid as The Rock's posts. Like, you need to go follow John Cena for a while. Like, he's basically just copying The Rock's formula to the T. So.
he is so fucking annoying. Well, speaking of,
I think all celebrities are, though. I think this is what you're just finally coming to grips with, Podman Ron.
Yeah, they live in a bubble. I mean, that's the whole thing. They live in a bubble where everybody just validates their opinion all the time, and so they think that they got the right of the world, and everybody wants to hear what they have to say because the people that are on their payroll do.
Podman Ron's just jealous he doesn't have that kind of power. That's what he wants. People just to blatantly agree with him. You're right, Podman Ron. You're right.
Right. You're right. Here's my tequila. Look at my tequila. This is my tequila this week.
PMR's tequila.
PMR tequila.
Yeah.
God damn, that dude posts that tequila shit every day. I don't even want to buy it now because he posts it so fucking much.
Who is this, The Rock?
Yeah, The Rock.
Oh,
God
okay.
damn. So
Well,
I went down a hole on Instagram. I want to see if either one of you have heard of this fucking little kid. It's driving me up the goddamn wall now because it's all in my Instagram all of a sudden. Have you ever seen this kid called Hasbulla?
No.
He's like a little weird little Russian kid that he has the face of an old man, dresses like an old man, and like constantly hits people.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'm going to send you a picture of this little fucker.
All right. Yeah, I'm not going to go looking for him.
I look for him and watch some of his videos. It's just the weirdest goddamn shit. It's like they make this little kid go. I mean, they dress him like a little adult. He wears like a little beanie hat, like Jughead wears. He's probably about 4 or 5 years old, and he's funny looking.
He's funny looking. He ain't right.
He wears a shirt with his little fucking little cartoon face on it. And he wears a man's Rolex watch, and
He's 19 years old.
He's what?
He's 19 years old.
He is not.
He is.
That
Come
fucker
on.
ain't years old.
Look it up.
You're fucking crazy. If that kid's 19 years old, no, there's no fucking way.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. It didn't take me long to find it.
I don't know how you find this. What's your source?
That kid's 19. There's no way that kid's 19 years old. What's wrong with him?
Well, now he could be.
There, I sent him in the group
I
chat.
see you. Yeah, he looks great. Hezbollah. So does he have some sort of kidney disorder like Gary Coleman, you think?
Like what is it? Hang on.
Is he really 19?
Yeah, he's got the growth hormone deficiency, a disorder that occurs when a pituitary gland in the brain does not produce enough growth hormone.
Oh, man, that's fucked up. I thought he was just a kid they were exploiting. But no, he's a 19-year-old that they're exploiting.
If he's reached the age of majority, they're not really exploiting him.
Yeah,
Well,
he's
why
probably
is he-
making some money.
I don't know. He acts, then he's mentally acting like he acts like a 4-year-old. That's what's even more disturbing about all this.
So you got problems, is what you're
Have you
saying.
not ever? Did you not watch Different Strokes?
Yeah, but Gary Coleman didn't act like he was, mentally challenged. See,
He acted like he was 12 when he was like 25.
well, sit on Mr. Drummond's lap all the time, but he didn't want to.
He did sit on Mr. Drummond. And he was well old enough not to get locked in that bike shop.
Yeah, he could have gotten himself out of that bike shop.
I mean, he was 22, the actor was, but he was playing an 11-year-old. I mean, come on.
Well, all right. Well, I sent you a picture of Vin Diesel and Brie Larson laughing it up. Anyway, let's move on to another thing that happened.
Did y'all look at some Hasbulla fan?
No, I'm not going to
look at some of those
sucked
videos?
into that shit. No.
Yes, we watched a video while we were talking.
It's good stuff.
You know we didn't watch a video. We've been talking to you.
Oh my God!
All right. Well, let's make a quick.
Brad, can you just play the the technical difficulties?
We'll be right back.
So, while we watch Estelle Harris,
We'll be right back.
known for her role on Seinfeld, has died. I know this is going to shock some of our listeners that she died a month ago. Mrs. Costanza. We haven't talked about that either. This is our catching up of the news.
We lost you, Brad. We lost you for about a minute and a half.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, Estelle Harris from Seinfeld fame died at 93 about a month ago. For any listeners who are a little bit lagging on the news.
I feel like we're talking over each other.
Are we? Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you.
All right. Well, anyway, she's dead.
Okay. We got to go back. Man, we are really out
To
of sync.
Hezbollah?
God, we are so out of sync. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. Brian, can you hear Podman Ron?
I can hear him. I don't know that he can hear us.
I don't
I
think.
can hear y'all. I just feel like we're all talking over each other.
No. Brian, do you hear that people are talking over each other?
No, I do not, Brad.
I don't either.
Okay, we cannot just overpass Estelle Getty or whatever the fuck her name was.
I'm trying to get us to Estelle Getty. You keep talking about people talking over.
I know. I want us to go give her a proper send off because
I'm trying.
she was like one of the best parts of Seinfeld.
All right, let's talk about Estelle Getty. She died at 92.
Estelle Getty died about 15 years ago.
Oh, who was this one?
The much respected Estelle Harris.
Okay, okay, that's what I meant. Y'all know what I meant.
Yeah, we know. All your fans. All your
Estelle Getty
fans.
died July 22nd, 2008.
Who did?
Estelle Getty.
Do y'all see? Let's see. I think I've lost y'all.
I don't understand. I mean, you can hear everything fine, Brian.
I can hear everything fine, but I'm also not in a woodshed 30 feet from my, 80 feet from my router.
Oh, wait a minute now.
All right, so George Costanza's mother, what was her name?
Estelle Harris.
No, what was the character's name? Morty Seinfeld.
Yeah, well, I can't remember her first name.
What was Mr. Costanza's first name?
No, she was just Estelle Costanza. They used her first name.
Okay. Podman Ron, what was George's father's first name?
Frank Costanza.
Frank Costanza. Okay, very good. All right, she was one of the best parts of the show, without a doubt. There you go. Podman Ron, any other passing words?
Nope, I liked her a lot. She's.
All right, well, that is
That was the proper send-off,
that's the proper send-off.
I'm going to get her name wrong 7 or 8 times. And then I'm just going to say, nope, she was good.
Nope, I got nothing else to add. I mean, you covered it.
Yeah, y'all covered it pretty well.
Excellent. Another person who died is someone from the TV show It's a Living. But let's not talk about her. All right. Let's. Do you have any more deaths, Podman Ron?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Hey, what's the George Perez watch going nowadays?
No.
I don't want him to die. I want to know when he dies. Has anybody heard any updates on his health?
The only update recently is he was going to do a big CGC signing.
Yeah.
And it was right before he went into hospice. And so people sent in all their books.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it was going to be a big signing. And CGC, it's a big deal. Like, you've got to send it in. You've got to send it FedEx. You have to send it trackable. You've got to package it well to make sure it doesn't get damaged or anything. They have to, like, sign them in. They have to make sure they don't get them mixed up because it's all grading.
Right.
You know, and everything. So it's all got to be certified and graded. And it's almost like, you know, the vault where they keep the Oscar statues. It's like that kind of security level. And then people will send them in and say, well, I want them to get it cleaned and pressed, and it goes to a different area.
Yeah.
So it's this huge machine in order to grade these books. Everybody sent their books in, and then he canceled.
Uh-oh.
So CGC had to send all that stuff back, and they had to make sure everything got back to the right person.
They are not happy with George Perez, it doesn't sound like.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a giant cluster. It was a giant cluster. But the fact that he couldn't just sign books. I mean, granted, there's probably a few thousand books.
Yeah, fuck
but
those.
What, PR?
I said, fuck those people. You know what? I mean, the man's dying of cancer. My God.
I'm not saying that. Why? But he committed to it just a few weeks before. Like, they announced it in January, and they canceled it in, like, late February. So, I mean, it was like the fact that he agreed to it and it had to cancel so quickly was probably a pretty big sign that it ain't, you know, it's advancing quickly.
In all honesty, they showed a picture of him probably about a week and a half ago, and he looks terrible. I mean, they showed him with that book, and it didn't look good at all. So I'd say this month sometimes.
Wow.
It's horrible. So,
all right. Well, I hope that you give him a fond bidding farewell, just like you did Estelle Getty.
Yeah. I hope he rates.
I hope you remember his name.
Same send off that Estelle Harris rated.
I'm gonna sit in a bar all day and just drink and read my comic books at a bar.
Yeah, that sounds depressing. That sounds sad. All right. Well, somehow or another, we've been talking for 30 minutes about nothing. So let's go. Let's talk about something important here. All right. In the TV land, we got a lot of TV shows. We have Moon Knight. We have Picard. We have another Star Trek show. What?
And another Star Trek show?
Yeah, another Star Trek show. We have Severance. Anybody watching Severance?
I've not started it yet.
Yeah, watching Severance. What about I'm getting all of my stuff out of the way. What about The Outlaws on Amazon Prime? Have you heard about this?
No, I'm not.
Pretty good. All right. Christopher Walken, Stephen Merchant. Pretty good. Mm-hmm. All right. Now that my stuff's out of the way, let's go over to Moon Knight. I've seen Moon Knight. Moon Knight, again,
and I want to hear Brad's opinion. Brad never sees anything, so it's nice to have Brad's opinion every once in a while.
Yeah, this is not my Moon Knight, as we already established, and I think I'm going to keep with that theme. It's not my Moon Knight. The first episode I thought was interesting and kind of, I was enticed to watch the second episode. Second episode, maybe not so much. So anyway, as fans of Moon Knight know, he's got multiple personalities, all this kind of stuff, and certainly since he was created in the late 70s, early 80s, whatever it was, mid-70s, and came to popularity in the 80s, and has gone through a couple of reincarnations, if I can throw that in there, over the years. And I guess this character that they have in the Disney Plus series of Moon Knight is a little bit of more of the newer type stuff. It has Khonshu, that the god of the moon, Egyptian god of the moon, plays heavily into the Egyptian artifacts and all that stuff. So much so that and you guys tell me that again in the 80s, the alter ego of Moon Knight was one of them. He was a rich playboy millionaire with lots of gadgets. One of them, he was a cab driver. One of them, he was a mercenary. And then one of them, he was Moon Knight.
Right.
Was he like that? Is he like that in today's modern comics?
Yes, but you got to add another personality. You add, he's added Mr. Midnight, Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight
is more like a detective.
Oh, okay,
So,
all right.
Detective.
And we see Mr. Knight in the second episode. So, long story short, which is probably too late. So Stephen Grant is still one of the characters, but instead of a millionaire playboy with lots of gadgets, he works at a museum in England or somewhere or another, I guess, right? He has kind of a funny accent. He looks in a mirror and he sees himself. He talks to himself. That's how we see these dual personalities, and that's kind of interesting. But the mercenary one comes and saves the day and stuff like that. Again, it plays really heavily into the Egyptian stuff, which I'm a little bit less interested in. But overall, it's probably represents the modern day take on Moon Knight a little bit more. I'm just less interested in that. So I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm just saying I don't know if I'll finish watching it.
I think you should finish watching it.
I don't know if I can stand 4 more episodes.
It's only 6 episodes, I think.
No, I can't stand 4 more episodes of that funny accent.
You can do 4 more episodes. That ain't gonna kill you.
Well, and apparently that was all, what's his face?
No, what's his face's idea? Whatever the actor's name is.
You have to have the English accent.
Yeah.
But it's weird because they're making it. Mr. Knight's not another.
No,
it's just a different suit.
It's just yeah. He's the Stephen Grant.
It's why
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And the badass Moon Knight, the Batman Moon Knight, is Mark Spector.
Right.
So.
And there's no Jake Lockley in the TV show so far.
That we've seen, yeah.
Yeah, so the Mr. Knight, which the costume's cool, he's going to be the goofiest one of all. So like that stuff's out. That's never
right.
It's definitely not your normal Marvel show. I mean, it's way more comedic. And honestly, you haven't seen much of Moon Knight at all,
right?
In either of the 2 episodes, you know. I don't not like it, but it's not. I could see people tuning in expecting to have like that kind of paint by numbers superhero story, and they're like, well, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'm curious just to see. I mean, we're only 2 episodes in. People didn't turn on Boba Fett until episode 3, right? And so I'm curious if
at what point will people turn on Moon Knight? Yes, that episode.
So
again, it's just sort of less interesting, and it's weird. In an attempt to make it more interesting, I guess in a way, it's sort of like okay. I mean, again, I might like something more than the paint by numbers, but at the same time, it's like, this ain't it. I don't think this is it. Podman Ryan.
Now we've discussed that it's not the Moon Knight we grew up with, and let's take our listeners back to Moon Knight. We grew up with is more like a Batman character, especially in the early '80s, where they just kind of touched on the split personalities that he had. You really weren't even sure that he had any type of superpowers because back then, Khonshu was just a statue, and it was like he just thought he was, and they play that up. They'd say, you're just imagining that you're getting these powers from the statue. You're just imagining these powers. They're not real. This is just you're just relying on the statue. The statue never talked to him or anything like that. Never appeared before him. And like we talked about before, Stephen Grant was a millionaire, and Jake Lockley was his matches Malone, which was Batman's identity to go out into the underworld and talk to the underworld. A secret identity Bruce Wayne would use to go undercover with bad guys. And so Jake Lockley was like that for Moon Knight. And then you had, Mark Spector was the real persona, was the real one.
Right.
I think they had to change it around because, for one, they didn't want to go too much like Batman. And over the years, they have really developed all this Egyptian crap.
Right.
They've really doubled down on it with Khonshu now appearing as he's like a bird, got like a skeleton head of a bird, and it's kind of a cool looking character. But that's who comes to him now and talks to him is more like a voice in his head all the time.
And it's kind of to Brian's point, it's kind of a comedic. I mean, Khonshu's kind of the comedic character here, right?
I kind of like Khonshu. Yeah, actually, he's my favorite part of it is when because he just tells them you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's like it's the idiot again.
Yeah, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that they've kind of simplified the split personalities right now. I think we'll eventually be introduced to Jake Lockley, but they've simplified it because, like Brian was saying, you have Mark Spector. Well, when he summons the suit, which is not what he does in the comic book, but in TV show, when he summons the suit, he's in the official garb of the, Khonshu's knight or his fist. But when Stephen Grant does it, he's all proper in English, like an Englishman. So that's kind of a cool little take on that. They're just kind of keeping it simple between two split personalities instead of 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever right now.
Well, Joshua had a good thought on it. And he was, before we watched episode 2, he was like, I bet you in episode 2, they show you the perspective from Mark Spector. Everything that happened in episode 1, but from Mark Spector's perspective. And I'm like, yeah, that'd been great. Right? And that would have been kick-ass. You'd got to see, okay, this is all the weird stuff. You established the split personalities. You've got your funny stuff in, but now let's show how the hell did he get to wherever that country was. How did he get to showed all the stuff and honestly, you could have done it where it's like you could have fused the 2 episodes into one, and gotten the
whole
followed
thing.
the actual the action side of it, but. Which would have been great, and then you'd have balanced everything by having almost an entirely action episode and a serious episode to offset the comedy. And they didn't do it. We're still sticking with the Stephen Grant character. You're not getting the badass.
Yeah. They need to lean more into the Mark Spector stuff, but the reason they're doing that is Stephen Grant is your. You know how usually in these superhero movies you always have your outsider.
He's the eyes of the viewer.
Right.
Yeah.
But now he's the split personality. He's the eye of the viewer and he's the hero. So it's not working very well because they're focusing too much on him. And another thing Marvel's kind of doubled down on all these, even in the comic books now, everybody's had a person before them that's had the mantle before. It's like Iron Fist. There was numerous Iron Fists before. Ghost Rider. Or numerous Ghost Riders before. Phoenixes. There's numerous, everybody now, there's always been a character before. And they, now Ethan Hawke's character was the Fist of Khonshu before Mark Spector was. So,
was he? Did they reveal that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I
missed that too.
I missed that one. That's how much I'm paying attention to it.
Which makes sense, I guess. But it's just, God, how everything is now. Everybody had a press with.
Gotcha.
And anyway, I didn't like it. I think it's going to, I enjoyed both episodes. Hell, it's better than the Captain and the Snowman, or whatever the fuck that show was earlier.
Captain and the Snowman.
What? Falcon.
Captain America and Mrs. King.
Yeah, that. I mean, I enjoyed it better than that, and I liked it better than Loki, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not as good as Hawkeye, though.
Not as good. Nothing's as good as Hawkeye. So at what point do they tell the origin of them, or do they even bother?
Not yet,
Can we
but I think they
pause
will.
for 1 second? Not as good as Hawkeye. Hawkeye is based on the Matt Fraction run that PMR hates.
Of course, yeah.
But loves the show.
He loves Jeremy Renner, that's why.
No, I do not like him.
He thinks Jeremy Renner is the most exciting actor in the 20th century.
Oh, I will say I was wrong about that lady. I mean, she was good. She did.
That lady, you mean Kate Bishop?
Yep.
Haley Seinfeld?
Yeah, man. Did great, man.
Haley Seinfeld's a great little actress. She was great in Bumblebee. She killed off the Transformers.
God, which I don't understand that. People loved that movie.
Bumblebee?
I don't know why they're... Yeah.
Well, it had John Cena, didn't it?
It had John Cena, and it was the best reviewed Transformers movie today.
Oh, wow, that's
but for some
a
reason,
mouthful
like
right there, Brian. That's a mouthful. That's the best Transformers review movie today. 2 out of 5. That's still the best. Still the best.
No,
all right.
It made like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like 94.
I like the first Transformer movie. I don't care what anybody says.
Wow.
Good movie.
He loves his Michael Bay.
That's a great segue.
That is. All right, before we do, so Moon Knight, what do you guys think? Is it worth people to even bother watching it? I say no.
Oh, Brad, you watch it again.
I'd say if you've come this far, you might as well.
Yeah, Brad, you watch all that crap all the time, and then you need to watch a good superhero movie every once in a while.
I would like to watch a good superhero movie or TV show. I can't find one.
Come on.
I'm not against a good TV show.
Moon Knight's not the one to quit on. If you were going to quit the MCU, the one you quit on was either the Eternals or Black Widow.
Yeah.
Or the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I did not finish watching that one. I did quit on that one.
That's where you should have just quit. If you've made it this far,
all right.
Moon Knight's not. I mean, he's no Iron Man. No.
My only other thing about Moon Knight is you really haven't. They don't really talk about the blip or anything. Everything's just kind of like
there's no connection quite yet.
Yeah, there's really no MCU connection. I mean, I don't know. You really don't know if it's in modern time, it's 2024, which is what the MCU is in, or something else. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
All right. Well, before we get to the Michael Bay, I know in TV land, talking about what time is it, it's Picard time. What time is Picard in? He's a time-traveling old fool, right?
He's in 2024, actually.
Well, what? The worlds are colliding here in Picard and Moon Knight. They're both British.
Yeah.
Or I guess French, whatever. What is Picard, French or British?
He's French, but they actually get into that this season.
They kind of got into it a little bit.
Why he has a British accent?
Why he has an English accent, yeah.
But I think it's,
Nobody asked. Nobody cared. They're answering the questions nobody wanted to.
Nobody cares. Nobody.
The nerds care. All right, so what's your beef with Picard, Podman Ron?
Oh, there's so much.
This season is better than last season.
It was
much.
better. The first episode, it was good. I actually enjoyed the first episode. I was like, oh, man, this is going to be good. But then, we had to go into the woke part of Star Trek. What is Star Trek now? And the evil INS agents who, just ICE agents who just pluck immigrants off the street and beat them down and send them back home. It's like, oh my God, y'all, really? I mean, this is anyway. I don't care for the wokeness. I just
I don't care for the wokeness.
I mean,
what would Gene Roddenberry think of all of this? Right? He would probably make a woke Star Trek nowadays, right?
Yeah, but not. I mean, there's woke, and I get there's true social issues out there, and I don't mind. I mean, of course, address those like the original Star Trek did. But the difference between the original Star Trek and today's Star Trek is they just beat you over the head with it now. I mean, it's like where back then it was just subtle. I mean, it was very subtle.
It was so subtle.
Frank Gorshin, half white and half
exactly. Me and Brad are immediately the exact same thing. Frank Gorshin, the white.
What do we do about this race war, Gene?
But he is black.
I got an idea for an alien.
I'm black on the right.
I got an idea. It's subtle.
That was so subtle.
So here we got. Let me go back to like the second episode. They all go back. They go back in time.
Yeah.
And they're in 2024, and Rios, who's the Han Solo ripoff, which I kind of like the guy. I like the actor. I like his character. It was kind of cool that first episode. Like he joined the Federation. He is the captain of the Stargazer, which was Picard's first command before the Enterprise. So, and now Rios was the captain of the new Stargazer. I liked all that. I mean, that first episode I thought was really, really cool. It was really strong. And then they went to the past, and he goes to a clinic that's run by a Hispanic lady. Who's a hot Hispanic lady. She's very hot, and they give each other lovey-dovey eyes and all that, and it's all good. But then the main ICE agents break in and start arresting everybody.
They got no papers. They're from the future, right? Or one of them.
Well,
right.
There's no papers, so of course they arrest. I mean, it's like, can you explain? They're just not just deporting people just for the sake of deporting. I mean, they act like they're just rounding up people and just sending them back. And these agents are so like dastardly mean, it's just over the top.
Here's what he's leaving out, and this is some of the plot development, which kind of makes sense. In fairness, it's a free clinic for uninsured people,
right?
So ICE keeps hitting it, knowing that
they're going to catch a few.
It's like a lint trap. Like all these undocumented immigrants, when they need medical, they're going to this clinic. So they keep raiding this clinic over and over and over again, and because it
is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there are laws in the country. If you don't like the laws, then get your congressman to change them and just open the borders, let everybody in. But until that changes. But anyway,
I digress. Anyway.
So now Rios is on this bus to go, to be deported to Mexico, and like they crash the bus and just beat up the guards and let all these people escape. And I'm like,
what?
Well, all these, which is fine, I guess, but now these guys that are escaped are all like, they've now committed a crime. They've escaped from custody, so that's a charge against them. So if they get called again, they know who was on the bus.
They're going to get super deported.
Super duper deported.
They're going to drive them further back into Mexico. Like, what's going to happen?
Not just across the border.
It was just a little bit too much. It's like
a little bit too much.
Yeah, too much wokeness.
All right.
But that's not my main issue.
But that's not. You haven't even gotten to the main issue.
That episode's issue. The main issue is this. Now, oh God, this has gotten really out of hand. So Picard is in the past. He's finding out that Q is trying to change history, and the way he's trying to change history is Picard's great daughter. I don't know what the fuck. No, not granddaughter. It would be
Grandmother.
grandmother.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She is going to.
Her name is Renee Picard,
Her name is Renee Picard.
which is kind of cool.
She is going to be on a mission called the Europa mission. But the thing is, and it's a famous mission, but he had no idea she was going to be on it. I mean, it's like, he's like, oh,
He don't know. He doesn't even know anything.
I mean, this is supposed to be a famous launch.
But
Why
it
would
wasn't.
you know that it's your ancestor on it? I mean, that's the weird part. It's like he finds out that that's my ancestor? What? That's a famous, that's the famous Europa mission. She's got to be on that. But, okay, she's got to be on it. Why didn't you know that she was on it to begin with?
You think he would know that?
Well, especially he's named after, his brother, I guess, is named after because his brother was named Renee and Renee Picard. So, it makes no goddamn sense why he would not have known that she was on that mission. I mean, if this mission is so famous, why would he not know that she was on it?
You're misremembering part of this.
Please enlighten me.
He said when he did his speech in the first episode at Starfleet Academy that Picards had been in Starfleet for generations, and he had an ancestor that was on, and he references this mission, right? He references the mission, but in episode 2 or 3, they have to go look up and see, well, what was special about this mission? Well, because they're taking her out of place. Something she does is super integral to the timeline. And what it is she finds, on the Europa mission, she finds some what's like an organism that they think has consciousness.
Okay.
They find a bacteria that she thinks has a consciousness. But that's it. I mean, she's a footnote at best in history. So she's not famous. It wasn't a famous mission. They have to go back and go, well, what the hell, what was the Europa mission? What would be special about that? So they don't know that. That's PMR misremembering part of the episode. But it's kind of integral because I have a theory around that. Please continue.
Okay. My other stuff is the whole thing about, and I don't know if, Brian, you've hit on this since you hadn't watched the last episode, but Brent Spiner's back as Dr.
Noonien Sung.
Yeah, but it's an ancestor in Noonien Sung. So he's like...
Everybody's an ancestor.
Oh, yeah. This guy's like a Tesla, He's like a big inventor. He's a genetics, and he's trying to create a thing to cure his daughter, who looks just like the daughter that Data invented a robot of in the future, because it's played by that actress. So it really, it's Brent Spiner playing this, and I don't know.
That sounds horrible.
His name's even Noonien Sung, isn't it?
No, it's not Noonien Sung because
they call him Dr. Sung.
Yeah, but it's his ancestor, because everybody has that name and looks alike. This genetics, I guess he had sex with his mom or something because they all just look alike. Everybody looks like Data. I mean,
Weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, he is a geneticist, so maybe he does that intentionally.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point. I don't know. It's just too...
especially if his daughter's going to die, which they're kind of...
Well, it's kind of hinted at this last episode that he's cloning that she did die, and all he's been doing is cloning her, and they keep dying, and this is like... They kind of hinted at it, so...
he could just continue to clone himself. So.
This episode is just... I like these characters. I just don't like this writing. And this, I hadn't even started about the chick that got possessed by the Borg Queen, which makes no goddamn sense either. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So,
so the next generation people that are coming aboard, what's the storyline they're going to be? They just all get together?
Just get together. I'm hoping they'll do like I said earlier, get her like a renegade mission and go off and do good stories. And what's bad is like I don't dislike any of these characters. I like these characters. I didn't like the little teenage Romulan or whatever that guy kid was, who's dead right now. But that's one of the reasons they want to change the so he'll come back to life. But I like the cast. I mean, the cast is great. I mean, the Rios guy's great. I like Allison Till's character. I kind of like everybody on this show, but I don't know. Just this writing is just all over the place for me.
Well, and you've missed a couple of things too. We don't know Q's motivation, but what Q is basically doing is he's trying to get Renee Picard off the mission. So he's trying to get her to drop the mission or get removed from the mission because he doesn't want her on this Europa mission. And he's showing it, and so the reason they figure out he's there is because they show video of her talking to her psychiatrist, and Picard's like, "I know that voice," and it's Q, right? But something's going on with Q's powers as well. Like he can't totally control his powers, and he's trying to convince he can't just make her not go. He's having to like kind of manipulate to convince her not to go because he doesn't. Something's going on with Q, like Q's dying.
Oh, okay.
This is his last thing. But that kind of brings me full circle. Just like in the first episode where Picard, happens to mention he had an ancestor. The Picards have always been, in Starfleet and captains and that sort of thing. They also mentioned that the Picards had to leave France during World War II, and they didn't return to the Picard state in France for a couple hundred years.
Oh, okay.
But he still owns it, right? And it's still a vineyard, right? Because Renee had it. So that's why he has it, because they migrated to England for hundreds of years.
Okay.
Came back. So that's his accent. But the PMR, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I think the reason why Q is trying to manipulate stuff is not so he can make the world dark in the future. I think he's trying to manipulate it because that whatever it is, the fungus or whatever she finds, I forget what they said it was, but it's sentient. It's Q. It is Q.
And that's why his interest in Picard is all these years.
It's because his ancestor is the one, he's tied to the Picards. Wow. But eventually that evolves into Q millions of years in the future, and so he's trying to go back and do something to prevent her from finding it. Because if he can prevent that, then he can continue to live. Like something happens in that, and that's why he's dying.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Maybe that'll make it up for you.
I'll stick with it a little bit.
What are your thoughts on that theory, Kimar?
That's a good theory. I like that, actually.
All right.
They won't do it because it's actually a good idea. It'll be something stupid like, was wanting to be mean or something, Because anytime you come up with a good idea, they're not going to do it. They're just going to do something totally different.
And now this is which one of, there's how many Star Trek shows are there nowadays? There's 4 of them.
Well, there's live action. There's this card. There's Discovery, and there's soon to be Strange New World, which premieres I think next month or maybe later this month. And which is the Captain Pike show, which is the Enterprise before Captain Kirk took over.
Gotcha.
It's May 5th. It's when it comes out.
And then you've got a cartoon show called Lower Decks.
Has that already come out or no?
It's
Lower
out.
Decks on the 3rd season.
Oh.
And then you've also
That's what I
thought. Star Trek Prodigy, which is about Starfleet, and it's got Janeway on it, but it's all CGI. It's like a kid.
Yeah, it's all CGI too. They're trying to do like Clone Wars and Star Wars has been doing with,
Gotcha.
I heard Lower Decks is not that bad. Lower Decks kind of takes place in what would be now kind of Picard's time. Well, no, I take that back. It takes place around like 5 years after the last Star Trek movie, I believe. It takes place between then and Picard, sometime around then.
It's the problem with that show is you can tell they want to be Rick and Morty, but they can't. They're not smart enough to write it as well as Rick and Morty, or Paramount's like, no, you can't do all that. Like they've got too many handcuffs on, but it just kind of falls flat. So,
right now, I don't know if y'all have ever watched The Orville with Seth MacFarlane, but that's actually a pretty good show.
Is it?
It's kind of like what Star Trek used to be in the 90s. I mean, the storytelling is like that. Even the props and the special effects are like that. But they add a little bit of humor to it, just enough to make it a little bit different than Star Trek. And I don't know. To me, it's much better than all the shit they've coming out with Star Trek recently. Star Trek Discovery. It's in. I think this is the 4th season. I'm almost through with this. I've got like 2 episodes left. Did you watch that, Brian?
I've not watched it.
Whew.
That last season really turned me off the show. So.
This season's a little bit better, but it's kind of like, God, I probably already pissed people off with my last thing with the whole wokeness, but you've got...
Let me go for it. Double down.
Yeah, so you got Burnham as the captain now, but she's got her boyfriend, who's Bookman. What is his name? Booker? I can't
Booker.
He's on the ship, and they're trying to make her be this strong captain, but every time he's in like any scene with her, I mean, she swoons. I mean, she's like, she just reverts back to like, I don't know. It's just awful. It's like she's like a schoolgirl with a schoolgirl crush on this guy, and it's like, God, y'all, what are y'all doing here? I mean, this is terrible. I mean, quit making her like act like a schoolgirl around this guy. And every time, I mean, and then these characters are just terrible on this show. There's just like nobody likable on this show at all.
Which one is that? Discovery?
Discovery. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And Tilly finally left. They got rid of Tilly.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, she's teaching at Starfleet Academy. So there was this one episode. It just cracked me up where like Burnham had to do this like rescue thing, and she could take one person with her. And who do you think she took?
Yeah.
Would it be maybe a security officer? No, it's Tilly, who's a little overweight and would not be the person I would take. Not because she's overweight, but I would take a security guard, not the person who navigates the ship. I mean,
that's like going down to the planet and just let me take science and doctor and a couple of random people.
Yeah, I mean, what do you?
That's what Kirk would have done.
Gotta make this.
Kirk would have always brought some red shirts just for human shields.
Well, yeah, of course. He was smart enough to do that. He'd take a couple of security. The red shirts were security. You take the red shirts with.
Always take a red shirt.
He would take the science officer. He'd take a doctor in case he needed a doctor. Did he ever take the communications officer? No, he didn't take the communications.
Didn't need to.
Didn't need to. Did he take the engineer guy with him? No, he didn't take
Scotty sometimes.
No.
Very rarely.
Only on shore leave. Or if there was a reason to take Scotty.
What about the one where Scotty, the whole Jack the Ripper thing with Scotty?
It was shore. He was on shore leave.
Was it shore leave?
Yeah, they were on shore leave.
All right.
Got drunk in a bar.
Yeah, whenever there was drinking, he would take Scotty.
Yeah. Scotty was his drinking buddy.
I guess it was. You're right.
Yeah. If it was a rescue operation, he takes the helmsman. I'm going to take him. What? makes no goddamn sense. Anyway, that's my beef.
All right, my beef with Star Trek with Podman Ron. Jeez, I mean that's a disappointment, I'm sure.
Strange New Worlds looks pretty good.
Podman Ron doesn't want to relive those memories.
No, they've already played those. They don't even need to go back. They need to just go forward. Stop going back in the past.
All right.
Oh,
well, we did see Kirk. They've cast Kirk for Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
I don't started on that. No, that's not Kirk. William Shatner's Kirk, not some skinny, scrawny guy that looks
good-looking, skinny, scrawny guy. Good actor. Has a range. Well, that's disappointing. You were a long-time Star Trek fan, and you finally get an entire streaming service devoted to Star Trek for the most part,
I know,
and they all suck. Yeah,
it all sucks.
Yeah,
I get it. I like the ship. I like the special effects. I even like the captain if she would quit being losing her shit every time her boyfriend walks in.
Quit acting like a schoolgirl.
It's like, God, you're a captain of a ship. Quit acting like you're, got a crush on this guy every time he walks in the room,
I can't believe they actually got rid of Tilly. Like, I feel like 3 seasons in, now you get the message that everybody hates Tilly?
Well, you know what? Don't hate me, but I didn't mind Tilly.
Ooh, Tilly's the worst.
She had a sense of humor.
Was Tilly Tig Notaro?
She's the human Neelix.
I
kind of got that joke.
I like Tilly. No, Tig Notaro is I'd say is the gay doctor, but everybody on the show is gay, so I don't know.
She's just the doctor.
I swear to God, I'm not kidding. She's gay.
Who is?
Tig Notaro.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she's great on there. She reminds me.
She's probably the best thing, yeah.
I love Tig.
She reminds me of the female Dr. McCoy. She is.
Yeah.
You've got the engineer. He's gay. You got the doctor. He's gay. He's married to the engineer. Then they took on this, and when they went to the future, they took on this girl who's transgender, who is now in a relationship with another transgender. I'm so confused at everything right now.
The
future is crazy.
That character,
man. What?
That character who they quasi-adopted is she's not a minor, or he's not a like. They're not a minor. Like they're like in their 20s. So it's I don't understand why.
Confused. I don't know what. Well, she acted like she was the one that came onto the ship. They acted like she was a teenager or something. That she was like interning with them or studying them or something. And then she was talking about this I don't know, girl guy that that was in her subconscious, and then they created a body for her that's like Picard's body because they referred to Picard's body in the past. And made her a body like Picard's and brought her back. Oh, it's so confusing. So,
not my Star Trek.
I'm just, I don't know.
Again, Podman Ron, I'm thinking maybe you ought to come over to the dark side with me and kind of start watching stuff other than these science fiction and superhero shows. Because they're only going to disappoint you, Podman Ron. They'll only disappoint you.
I just don't want. I just want action. That's it. Just action. I want mindless action.
All right. Well, I think that's
not any of that shit. What Brian says in Picard is because I was probably half asleep because they talk so goddamn much.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, how much fucking speeches can you fucking have?
It's Star Trek. That's all they ever do is talk.
Oh,
true. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of action in the original.
Oh, bullshit.
The original TV shows?
Yes.
Have you watched any of them lately?
Yeah, they are pretty boring.
No.
Brian, are they?
Yeah, lots of discussion and conundrums.
A lot of conundrums.
In a conversation.
Well, they did it right.
They did it right. I mean, I enjoy them, but they are boring.
They're not boring. Are you kidding me?
All right. Well, on to away from the boring future to the exciting today. Brian, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Michael Bay, you love a good Michael Bay movie, and you just can't stay away from Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Bay and the top action movie of the summer, Ambulance. What's it called? Ambulance Driver?
Just Ambulance.
And just
I'm not sure if it's L.A. Ambulance or Ambulance L.A. or they're really big about. It's like the word ambulance comes up, and then it like fades out, and then you just see L.A. And I'm like, is that part of the name? What is he doing? Or does he just really want you to know this is set in L.A.?
Well, I mean, you had me at. You didn't. So anyway, tell me, give us a synopsis of Ambulance by Michael Bay film here. What could he do to make this exciting?
I mean, it's Michael Bay, so
it sounds horrible.
It's essentially speed combined with kind of The Rock a little bit.
Okay.
And he name drops all of his other movies. He mentions Bad Boys. He mentions The Rock. He
mentions movie?
All these other Michael Bay movies. So, but the it's you've got Jake Gyllenhaal and his brother. His adopted brother. It's Will Sharp and what's Jake Gyllenhaal's name? Chris Sharp. I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't really matter. The basically one is like he gets adopted by Jake Gyllenhaal's father, who's like a gangster, and they grew up together. And he gets out because if he stays, he's going to end up, going down a bad path. So he joins the military. He goes on several deployments. He comes back with a Purple Heart. He's married. He's got a baby with cancer. He can't get insurance companies to pay for the treatments and stuff. And so it's his brother says, "Hey, he needs like $200,000 for this operation." And Jake Gyllenhaal's character, his brother, says, "Well, come with us on this. I'll get you more money than you can deal with." And their plan is they're going to rip off. There's some sort of big money movement thing happening, and he gets wind of it. And there's going to be $32 million cash at this bank.
Okay.
For a finite amount of time.
All right.
And so they're going to knock off the bank. They're going to knock over the bank, but it's right across the street from LAPD headquarters. So they go in. Everything goes sideways. Everybody in the crew gets killed, but those two. In the skirmish, an officer gets shot. They send in an ambulance to pick up the officer, and they hijack the ambulance to get out.
That's where the ambulance comes in.
That's where the ambulance comes in. So it's them in the ambulance with one of the paramedics. She's trying to keep the cop alive, and they're riding through the streets of L.A. But it's not like almost immediately, the police know that they're in the ambulance, but they've got two hostages.
So the chase is on.
The chase is on through L.A., and lots of action sequences. There's a level of this that's also like 24, like the TV show 24, where it's like, how did they not run out of gas yet? Like that sort of stuff is happening. But yeah, it's got action. PMR's looking for action.
It sounds like that's right up PMR's alley.
This is the film. I mean, I was sitting there, as much unbelievable things that are happening. I'm like, this is still way more plausible than Fast and the Furious. like this is clearly more plausible. But yeah, lots of bayhem throughout the film, crazy sequences, and when you watch the movie, you get to a point in the film, because it's like 2.5 hours long.
Oh, my God. That's horrible.
So, I mean, this would have been a tight 90 minutes. It should have been a tight 90 minutes and then been done.
Yeah.
It would have been probably a perfect movie. But it goes on for like 2.5 hours. And there's scenes where it's like, clearly he's just like, it's like he's in his play box. All right, I want 2 helicopters. I want to be in the LA River, and just bring me a camera. We'll see what happens. Like, it doesn't, like, it's even like edited weird. Like, it's like, it doesn't explain why they were doing that or why the helicopters left, but it was a cool scene, and it immediately like knee jerk shoves you into another plot point, and without explaining why the hell that even happened. They go, turn down here, go into the LA River, and they go into the LA River to draw out the helicopters. And so the helicopters come out, the helicopters are flying by them and everything, and then they just leave the river. And the helicopters stop following them for some reason. No explanation why they did it, but yeah. There's things like that throughout the film, but
so what would you give this movie?
Oh, I'd probably give it a 2.
Solid
2 out
2.
of 5.
All right, but sounds like something Podman Ron may enjoy. Just mindless movie.
It's considerably better than the last Fast and the Furious film.
All right.
Well, that's not hard because that one really sucks.
And on par with it may have more action than the Fast and the Furious movies.
Wow.
What? No way.
Just an ambulance?
So,
no rocket trap to it?
Space like the Fast and Furious did?
So, just saying. PMR, this may scratch your itch.
Wow.
I'll have to wait till it comes on HBO Max.
Attaboy. That's what I like to hear.
Jaw-dropping special effects.
You know. When is the Batman coming on HBO Max?
Next week, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'll eventually get around to watching it. All 2.5 hours of that craziness.
Watch that first hour and you'll be fine.
Okay, I think that's probably all I can stand.
Best movie ever.
Best movie ever if I watched only an hour of it.
The thing that is gonna become readily apparent to you is if Batman is a detective, he's a terrible detective. They spend way too much time in that movie on that flying rat riddle.
Oh my God.
Like,
they really do.
Then for like 45 minutes, they can't figure out this riddle about a flying rat. And then they keep getting the answer wrong. And so it's Batman and Gordon going, yeah, that must be what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. And the Penguin's like, are you idiots? No, that's not what it is. Oh, was it? Well, I bet it's this. Yeah, that's got to be what it is. And then somebody else is like, no, that's not the riddle.
That part's just terrible.
They're so stuck on this one riddle about a flying rat.
Truly, this Batman wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the
I thought he was supposed to be the best detective ever.
This was supposed to be a detective story, but Batman
he's ain't good at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good at it.
Wow.
I don't know what gave him credentials just to walk into crime scenes because he wasn't very sharp.
Well, Gordon did. And think about this. Gordon's bringing him into the crime scenes going, yeah, he knows his shit.
He's good.
Which makes it so weird when they're trying to figure out this bad flying rat riddle. Like, forever.
The kid's good. I'm telling you.
It's good.
I mean, it's the Batman that doesn't do anything. I mean, he doesn't catch anybody. He doesn't catch any bad guys.
It is. It's the Indiana Jones. It's the Indiana Jones theory. If you took Indiana Jones out of Raiders of the Lost Ark, everything still happened the way it would have. The same thing with this Batman. If you take Batman out of this story, everything would have happened the exact same way.
Wow.
Yeah.
He saves some people at the end. That's about it.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was just stupid. It was that. I mean,
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. I'll eventually watch all of it, I'm sure. I really want to go see Everything All at Once, whatever that is. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was going to go see it today, but then I got sidetracked. But that's the only thing that looks exciting.
I can't stand the way she talks.
Ugh, that Michelle Yeoh.
I just cannot. I can't.
Has she been in Discovery this season?
No, thank God. I'm not a big Michelle Yeoh fan.
I love Michelle Yeoh.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to see Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And I took the kids yesterday morning to see Sonic 2.
Oh, how was that?
It's fine.
Yeah, Sonic 1 was actually not a horrible movie considering.
Yeah,
what
it wasn't. I mean, it's on par with Sonic 1.
Okay.
I mean, it's Jim Carrey just chewing scenery the whole time. So,
one of the blessed things, the only good thing about Alex growing up is I don't see the awful fucking kid movies anymore, which I used to love. Don't get me wrong. When Alex was a kid, I would take him to go see every kid movie, not because he wanted to see them, because I wanted to see them. But somewhere along the way, they got terrible.
somewhere along
the way, when you turned 40, they got terrible.
Somewhere along Jacob's 5th birthday party at Beverly Hills, Chihuahua.
God, that was the worst. That was the lowest of the low. It was Beverly Hills, Chihuahua.
That's pretty.
Well, that's also the.
God.
So Jacob's birthday party. Jacob's born in October, and so that's like a lull for movies. You got the summer movies, then you get the Christmas stuff. Kind of starts in November, but Jacob was October. So it'd be like you're trying to find a movie in February. But the idea was he wanted to go see a movie with all his buddies for his birthday. That was all that we had to choose from. But we went to the theater and we bought the tickets, and then they had a little party room for after the movie. And so Jacob was 5. So what was Alex like?
8.
How old is Alex now?
Wait, Alex is 21, so.
And so Alex would have been like
10.
10, yeah. And so afterwards, all I get to hear is PMR bitching about that movie.
Jesus Christ.
And it was bad.
I mean,
but what do you...
He was offended at such a high level, considering
not that the 5-year-old wanted to go see it. He was just, that wasted my time.
What the hell's wrong with you, Jacob? Did you pick this movie?
He would not let it drop. I'm like, it's a 5-year-old birthday party. No. PMR was besmirched.
I can see bad movies. Because I love the theater. I love going to the movies. I love going to the movies. The whole movie experience, I enjoy it. I could not shine this turd up. I mean, I ate popcorn just to try to make me feel better, but it's like, this movie was so goddamn terrible.
Which I wonder, did you want us all to leave?
Wasn't he in it?
Huh? George Lopez was the main character, I think.
Oh, it was so bad.
What did you want us to do? Did you want us to have all the 5-year-olds leave the theater?
Wrap it up.
Walking out.
Wrap it up, kids. This is not good.
What was playing at the other movies that were playing? We could have picked something better.
There was nothing else. Well, I'll go look. But
Scream 4.
Long story short, PMR would not let it drop.
No.
And then we go into the party room. And so I'm trying to me and Tamara were trying to manage all these kids, and make sure they all got their goodie bag and the presents are put up, and we're having to talk to other parents because, all the parents are there. It's not like they're going to just drop them off for a 5-year-old birthday party. And so we're doing all this stuff, and I hear PMR telling, joking with Alex about, Jacob should just shove his face in the cave. He should just shove his face in the cave. And then Alex is like, yeah, that's a good, and they're laughing about it. And Jacob looks up to Alex, and so Alex tells him to do it, and damn it, if Jacob didn't shove his entire face in that cave. So me and Tim are trying to talk to these parents and get the presents and get the kids seated and stuff, and then suddenly our kid's head is buried in the birthday cake because PMR and Alex put him up to it. So now we have to try and salvage the cake, and our child looks like a lunatic to all these other parents.
An embarrassing day for everybody.
Especially Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
That was the worst embarrassment of it all.
Well, and that was the day Tamara almost punched his ticket. Not Jacobs, PMRs. Yeah.
Worst birthday ever.
Huh?
Worst birthday ever.
PMR said that is the worst birthday party ever.
Yeah, he loved it. Oh, he thought it was hilarious. So, like, we're like, oh, my God. And I'm like, Jacob. And then PMR's, like, cackling.
I didn't want no cake anyway.
I mean, I had to. You know what? I was just trying to save that birthday party.
Yep, trying to make it entertaining because that movie sure wasn't doing it.
Like, I didn't want Jacob to be known for, that bad movie with all his friends.
Yeah, you wanted him to be known as that kid that ruins the cake.
Yeah, there's a kid that made sure nobody else got any cake.
All cake, mine. Yeah.
I mean, what year was that? That had to be, 2010?
It was 2008. So, here are the movies that were out in October that we could have chosen from. Disaster movie, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Max Payne.
There you go.
What's wrong with Max Payne?
Rachel Getting Married, Let the Right One In.
Ah, I love that
The
one.
right one.
Vampire.
Max Payne. There you go. That was your answer right
Zach
there.
and Miri Make a Porno.
That-
Tropic Thunder. We could have taken them to see Tropic Thunder. So, yeah.
I'm looking at Max Payne. Wasn't that a kid's movie?
No.
Was that Wahlberg?
It's R-rated, Mark Wahlberg, based on a video game.
It's a shoot 'em up game. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All right.
I don't remember that.
Don't remember that.
Well,
all right.
Can we talk about? I had an epiphany earlier this week, and I'd just like to get PMR's opinion real quick on it. I picked up NECA, the toy manufacturer. He got some really cool toys. They make collectible editions of toys, and I picked up a RoboCop from NECA, and it's cool. He's got the gun in his leg, and there's like a little trigger mechanism where the leg opens,
pops out.
Pops out and opens up. Yeah, it was a really cool toy, and I grabbed it and I was messing around with it. I was like, it's interesting that PMR loves robots, right?
Robots,
but I've never heard him talk about RoboCop.
Does not like RoboCop.
No.
But think of the robots that PMR likes. He likes to have domed heads and lights and stuff like that.
They gotta look like a robot. RoboCop is technically RoboCop's not a robot.
He's a cyborg, right?
He's not a robo. Technically, RoboCop is not a robo.
Oh, he's a cyborg, so he's not really a robot.
PMR does not like cyborgs.
Cyborgs are not robots. They should have called that Cyborg Cop.
I think that's the Trauma movie.
I got you.
Is it called Cyborg Cop?
Probably. And there's probably an Asylum movie called Cyborg Cop.
You know what? I've never gotten into RoboCop. I watched the first one and I was just like,
Second one was good, written by Frank Miller.
No, just can't. No, just
Okay, fair enough.
Just kind of dumb. All the way down.
It's a little satirical. I enjoyed it.
Now, if they made a robot
Cop.
Robot cop. No cyborg, just robot. That's different.
Have they ever made a full robot cop?
You never go full robot, Brad. Speaking
of
Tropic Thunder.
We had cops that fought robots in Runaway.
Yeah.
With Tom Selleck and Cynthia, what's her name?
And
Rhodes.
Gene.
While we're on the subject of robots, I will say that the new Star Trek Discovery, now that they're in the future, Star Trek has added robots.
Oh, they finally have robots. Okay.
They got little service robots. And they look pretty damn cool.
Oh. Wow.
I will say that.
Finally.
Well,
cooler than RoboCop?
Anything's cooler than
RoboCop is not going to
looks
cut
pretty
it.
Cool.
I keep that movie. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you hate that movie. RoboCop got pretty decent reviews.
Yeah, the first movie was. I thought everybody loved it.
Wasn't that Dennis Hopper?
No.
What? That directed it?
No, that starred in it.
No.
No, Dennis Hopper did not star in it. No. Are you thinking of Toby Hooper? You're talking about Peter Weller?
Peter Weller.
Oh, okay.
Dennis Hopper and Peter Weller.
I thought you meant Toby Hooper directing it. It's like, no, I think that was Vanderhoof.
Didn't Kurtwood Smith play a... What did the
Someone,
Death
we need
Metal
someone to
show
speak
play
PMR in
RoboCop?
here quick.
I could. For some reason, I was thinking it was Dennis Hopper.
Okay, it'd be good. Put him in
Yeah,
there.
it came out in 1987. You know what it's got on Rotten Tomatoes, PMR?
What?
A 90.
RoboCop?
Yeah, people love it.
RoboCop.
It was a great satire, right?
Have y'all watched it recently? No.
I think it still holds up.
I think it still holds up, too.
Yeah. I mean, it's no...
How many did they? Didn't they make like 4 or 5 of them?
They made 3.
Yeah, and then a remake. I never saw the remake.
That was not great.
Didn't they? It's basically Michael Knight, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
it's the
pretty
same.
much. Pretty much.
Knight, right?
Yeah.
He was a cop, got shot. They rearranged his face and put him back out on the road.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. So, you know what's interesting about Knight Rider is they, if you watch that first episode, Michael Knight, the guy that owns Knight Industries that dies.
Mr. Knight.
Yeah, Mr. Knight. I don't know.
Moon Knight?
Yeah, I wish. He cuts Michael Knight to look like him at that age.
Okay.
But Michael Knight never once tries to re-engage anybody from his prior life.
Would you?
I was gonna say,
If you had the chance to do it all over again, Brian, would you?
If everybody thought I was dead and I got this sweet ass transaction,
No, I would not
guess
look
not.
back. Hell no.
Rod, you getting strange everywhere like Michael Knight's doing.
Yeah.
Spot.
See, Brian's more like RoboCop, where he did keep obsessing about his family, who thought he was
wanted to
dead.
go back to his family.
Yeah, Michael Knight didn't give a fuck.
No,
you know?
Michael Knight's the hero we need. Yeah.
Fucking RoboCop just cried over and over about his family.
Yeah, it kept creeping him out, actually.
He creeped my ass out. That fucker was always there. But Michael Knight, Michael.
Speaking of, we probably need to post this somewhere. But did you guys watch the video I sent out?
I did not. I saw you did send something. What was it?
Ooh.
Tell me about it. I don't want to have to watch it.
What video?
Okay. David Hasselhoff. It's a video. It's a music video.
Yeah, I saw that.
From his album Kung Fury, but called True Survivor, and it is a thing to behold.
What year did this come out?
I think this one came out in 2016. I mean, it's old, but I don't know how it hasn't made it into the cultural zeitgeist before now.
That's badass.
It's have you seen the video?
I'm watching it now. I'm now fast forwarding it through.
Yeah. Seen enough.
You can't fast forward it. You got to watch all these crazy ass.
The moves, the sweet moves he's got.
Oh, this is pretty cool. This is like 78.
Yeah. It's people love it.
People love it, PMR. People love
The people
it.
that have seen it.
Ready for a whole new wave of life.
That's pretty badass.
So
In the word Mac on Always Sunny, that's pretty badass.
pretty badass. So yeah, that's my there's what I'm looking at. I've been watching this
The video.
David Hasselhoff video on repeat.
Oh, now
True
it's got,
Survivor from the
now it's got me
Fury
going down a
album.
rabbit hole of A-Team clips. I don't know how that happened.
Uh-oh.
Here's B.A. Baracus jail boxing. Whoa. Mr. T action here.
Hey, I love Mr. T.
Who doesn't like Mr. T? You gotta be a goddamn
I
comedy.
met Mr. T when I was let's see.
I did too.
I met him at Eckerd's.
I met him at Toys R Us back in 1982 or 83.
I was there. That's when I met him.
I was there too. He just went down the aisle and went, "How you doing?
Yeah,
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?"
Yeah, they blocked off the aisle, the far right aisle from the door, and he walked there, and then across, and then into the stock room.
There was 2 times in my life my dad was disappointed, looked so disappointed in me. The first was when I was too fat to play football. Down at the game, I wouldn't make the weight. That was the first one. And the second one was when I made him go see T with me.
It wasn't him taking you to go see Spider-Man at Eckerd's.
The look on his face.
Was it at Eckerd's? Wasn't Spider-Man at Rich's?
No,
it was the Hulk was at Rich's.
Yeah,
No,
they've
no,
called me Captain America, Spider-Man.
No, the Hulk was at Cobb. It was at Cobb Center at the Rich's at Cobb Center.
I didn't see him. I saw Captain America at Reed Drugs, and I saw Spider-Man at our Sings. You remember that, Brian? Sings little
Gas station.
gas station.
I don't remember Spider-Man being there, but I remember seeing.
And then that's the only 2. And then Mr. T was at Toys R Us, and Dad brought me over there. And
Yeah, I was there for Mr. T.
and literally, we got there, and like you said, Brian, they had each aisle capped off, roped off, and you had to stand behind that line. And they literally walked him out, and he just walked down the line and just went, "How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you." And that was it.
Probably made a solid $100 that day, a crisp $100 bill.
It
was that far aisle. They had that one aisle where it was like all where you pulled the tickets, kind of like the service merchandise. You'd pull the ticket for the playground, or you'd pull the ticket for the Power Wheel or whatever. And that one aisle. And so, yeah, if you came in, you take a right, and it was the far right aisle, and he went down there, and then across left, and then into the stock room, and that was it. And Christy was on my sister was on my dad's shoulders, and he went. This is what I remember. He went, "Hey, little darling," and then he just walked on.
Wow, look at that.
That was it. Hey, little darling. I'm like, she doesn't know who you are. It's me,
Mr. T.
Hey, look at me. Notice me.
So after he did that, I turned around and my dad looked and just shook his head like,
You ready to go?
yes, I mean, he's just like,
I ain't buying you shit here.
I ain't buying you shit. You good fuck. Because I was like, oh man, Mr. T's going to come out and shake all of our hands. He's going to talk to us and tell me a good, life story. But nope, he didn't.
Tell me to stay off drugs.
Tell me to stay off drugs. Get me off the marijuana.
How many people do you think were there that day, P.M.R.?
I'd say about 50, 75.
I don't think it was more than that.
Wow.
I don't think so, yeah.
A big turnout.
I mean, it seemed like every aisle, because they had every aisle you could go, they were open. It seemed like every aisle was full, but I was up there. I was in the front of the line, and Dad, I could see, like I said, when I turned around, I'll never forget his look of disappointment. I mean, down the aisle a little bit, and after Mr. T pretty much ran by, I started to look. I saw Dad
on the way there. I bet he's going to drive up in a van, Dad.
I really thought we were going to.
You think he's bringing Hannibal with him?
Probably. Honest to God, I knew he wasn't going to come shake all our hands or anything, but I really thought he was going to stand there and talk to us for 10, 15 minutes. And how you doing today? But no, I mean, he literally practically just ran down that aisle.
It was crazy. Like he was
funny that we were there the same fucking day, man.
The whole thing. He probably wasn't in that Toys R Us 6 minutes.
Yeah, if that long. I mean, I often wondered, did he have something else to go do? I mean, how many guest appearances did he have that day?
They probably drove him all over town that day. He had 50 Toys R Us's to hit or something.
Well, no, it was the grand opening of that Toys R Us. So, I mean, there could have been other Toys R Us he had to hit, but I wonder what else he was doing.
Fucking the ladies, I guess.
Yeah. Laying the pipe to the ladies.
Huh?
Mr. T
You know,
style.
you know what? Those were good days.
Good times. Don't
Good
have
times.
times like that anymore. All right, so what do you guys got coming up this week? What's that?
Here's a deep cut that some of our listeners will remember. Do you remember when the Burger King would come around?
Just
Did
around
you
the
ever see the
store?
Burger King? Huh?
Like creep around.
No, like the Burger King, like we had this whole thing in the 80s where you'd have Ronald McDonald would be at McDonald's,
Right.
like a couple of times a year. The Burger King would come around to Burger King, and I remember the Burger King showed up, and he had like a carriage sort of a thing, and they would do like a
You
puppet
didn't dream?
show and.
You sure you didn't dream this?
I don't remember
No,
a carriage.
the Burger King would come to look it up. There's a rabbit hole for you to go down.
Look it up.
The Burger
That's
King
a fact,
would come
Jack.
and make appearances at Burger King,
Yeah.
right? And then Wendy's to get on with it because they had Dave Thomas. Or another guy. Wendy's, they started doing water slides. They had like a water slide thing where a water slide would show up at Wendy's on certain days.
Okay.
Over the summer.
Which fucking Wendy's did you go to? I never saw a Wendy's with a water slide.
This is the Wendy's. This is the Wendy's over on what's the
South Club
Alcohol.
Drive.
no. What's Bankhead Highway? But it's not Bankhead Highway. It's Bankhead Highway, like in Mapleton.
All right.
Okay, sure.
Right there. That would anyway. But yeah, I remember that my dad figured it out because we didn't have whitewater passes. My dad figured it out to where he had like the calendar of when the water slide was going to be where, what Wendy's it was going to be at, and when. And so, like that summer, we hit that Wendy's water slide like 6 times.
Wendy's water
Come on,
slide.
kids.
It was like, it's a
Put your
Wendy's
swim
this
trucks
weekend.
on. We're going to Wendy's.
We got it next weekend.
Grab a towel. We're going to Wendy's.
Have a
Wendy's
burger,
water
Dad.
slide.
Oh,
Also, go look it up. The Wendy's water slide.
The Wendy's water slide.
I had never heard of that. I've
You
never
may
heard
end
of
up
the
on the
burger.
porn side, but go ahead and look up Wendy's water slides.
Yeah. You see, the Burger King, the commercials that were popular a few
Right,
years
with the
ago,
big head.
where it was the guy in the big burger. That's the guy. Like, there was a guy that was the Burger King, and he looked like that. He didn't have the big, I mean, it wasn't
Right,
the
it was
mascot,
just,
but
yeah.
It was a guy that looked just like that, and that
Right.
was the Burger King.
Right. I have vague recollections of that occurring, I guess. Just like Ronald McDonald showing up.
I have recollections of the man in TV commercials,
But not in real life.
Here's another one for you. I watched a documentary. Toy Galaxy did a documentary on Alf. And which is cool because they're like 15-minute little documentaries. But they did one on Alf. And I didn't realize this. But there's the Alf TV show. But when Alf would make appearances, the creator wanted everybody to act like Alf was really an alien from Melmac.
Okay.
And so if they had him places, they wouldn't address the puppeteer or they wouldn't address the guy that did the voice. They would always have to address Alf as Alf. Did you guys know that? So like
Interesting.
if Alf was on, the Tonight Show,
Right.
then they had to address Alf as Alf.
Oh,
Whenever
okay.
there was Tina Fey produced I remember the Golden Globes several years ago, but an Alf made an appearance. And she made comments about they had to do so much to nobody could see them. They had to have they had to have a stage where they were below everybody and popped up and then disappeared and they had to be whisked away. But the way the set was made for the show was the set was 4 feet higher than the actual floor. And so the actors, it was a hazard for the actors at all times. They could just walk into a chasm that was made for Alf to pop up on the show. But yeah, Alf was made to be addressed as if he was a real alien
Interesting.
from our planet.
All right. They really
Did you
got
guys know
into
that?
it.
I didn't know that. But I'm watching these Burger King commercials now,
Yeah.
And did you know there was a robot called Robot? Like,
Yeah. They had a Burger King robot.
huh?
Yeah, of course they did, fool.
Of course they did.
He was a cyborg. I don't think it was a robot, right? He was half robot, half fries. He was powered by milkshakes.
Here in a second, you're going to get on the Dan Cortez Burger King commercials. You need to suck down that rabbit hole.
God, look at all this shit. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, well, you watching YouTube videos of Burger King commercials is...
I'm going to look up Wendy's water slide. Anybody want to look up
Yeah,
Wendy's?
go to Pornhub and look up Wendy's water slides. Hey, what are you guys got coming up this week? Nothing?
What's
Moon Knight? You watch Moon Knight?
Moon Knight's coming up. You know what I want to watch? I think when I can take a break from work and settle down, is I want to watch that show called We Crashed.
Okay.
With Jared Leto and
Catwoman?
Anne
Joker and
Hathaway.
Catwoman? Yeah. My wife watches it. She's enjoyed it.
Oh, does she likes it?
Yeah, she likes that in Severance. She loves Severance.
What is? I'm trying to look at the thing with Severance. It just does not look.
It
Looks
looks
too-
confusing.
Yeah, I can't do confusing. It's going to be spelled out.
Yeah, it's not a
I'll
lot of
probably
action
watch.
in it. Let me tell you that.
I'll probably watch Severance. I told Brad this the other night when we had our aborted podcast when PM couldn't show up. I've been watching the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, that's a great show. I went through all of those.
Yeah, it's a good
It's a
one.
great show. But it reminds me of, we've talked about this, I think, on the podcast before, but, they've got like the amusement park there on the
Right.
campus. But it reminds me of Heritage USA.
Oh, man. Yeah, Brian's got some great stories of Heritage USA.
Yeah.
Brian used to be part of that.
Well, my grandmother did.
No, don't say that.
You need to save that for another episode, though.
It had nothing to do with me, but yeah, we can go down and reminisce about Heritage USA. That's a rabbit hole to go down. Like all the stuff they had at that place. It's the best water park I've ever been to in my life.
Next to Wendy's.
Next to
Wendy's.
Well, I was going to say, what do you got to compare it to? Wendy's and Heritage USA?
We went to Whitewater. We've been to Whitewater.
What do you think it's going to
We've been to Typhoon Lagoon at Disney. Okay.
So you're saying Heritage USA is better than Typhoon Lagoon?
It's better than Typhoon Lagoon at Disney.
Wow.
It was.
I find that hard to believe.
Now, considering my grandmother probably had to donate, upwards of $30,000 in 1989 to get us that vacation.
God.
But it was a hell of a water park.
It was a hell of a vacation. Did you ever run into Tammy Faye and Jim Baker?
No, they didn't even do like I don't even
Mr.
think
T
you could like
walkthrough?
attend the tapings and stuff.
Did they do a Mr. T walkthrough?
Hey,
Oh, if only. That would have been fantastic. Yeah, Heritage USA.
All right. Well, let's wrap this 2-hour fiasco up here.
Best episode ever.
Best episode ever.
2 hours. If there's any list left.
This is
What?
I don't know. He's still stuck on Estelle Getty, I think.
Poor Estelle Getty.
Poor Estelle Getty. I miss her. She was so funny.
George
It's Estelle Harris.
Harris. Who the fuck is Estelle Getty?
Estelle Getty is from Golden Girls.
See, I got it. That
Some-
old lady. I got it right.
Close enough. Close enough. She was Estelle Getty was the Where's the Beef woman.
No, she wasn't.
Oh.
I'm getting more confused.
Back when they had the water talk about water slides, that old lady.
No.
That, you know what? I remember that old lady's name.
What was her name?
Y'all know it?
Estelle something.
No.
What was it?
It's
Clara. It was Clara something.
Like Peller, Clara Peller.
Oh, okay.
How the fuck do I know that? Let me see if that's right.
I know it was Clara.
God damn, I can't remember where I put my keys half the fucking time. I can remember shit like this.
Where's the beach lady?
Clara Peller, Peller.
Yeah, she was a hot one.
She was funny.
All right. All right. Well, maybe something exciting will happen next week. If not, it may be another month before we record again.
We got more now.
We got nothing, Podman Ron. It's a dry season.
It is a dry season, but maybe we create some stuff to talk about.
We got more.
We can all go watch a movie and all give our opinions of that film.
We can watch. We let Brian talk about Heritage USA.
That'd probably be interesting. Right. We could bring the streaming wheel back. I enjoyed that segment.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, bring that back.
We ought to bring that back next week.
Just for the dry season.
Mm-hmm.
Just over the hump.
All right, very good. We'll try that and take a trip down the water slides of Heritage USA. But until next time,
save it for the podcast.